Hi there, it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're going to be creating a card using these three elements mainly. I've got this circle die with lots of holes in it, and then this floral die, and then a stamp set. So first up I am going to create kind of the background, and I have this sort of floral lacy doily die, and I've cut it out from black cardstock. I know that it's going to be the center of my card, and I'm going to use this little holy circle die to create some detail. So I've just lined it up on my grid mat and lined it up so that it just does one corner, and I'm going to do all four corners using the same pattern. So poke out all the little bits and it will create some nice detail in each corner. So I'm just going to do exactly the same thing and line it up. And I know that when I line it up in the corner of my grid mat that I want 2.5 squares going up and 2.5 squares going across, so that it's exactly even on each corner and has the same amount of circle. So same thing, I just tack it down using some low tack tape and then run it through my die cutting machine, and I do have to run it through 4 times, but that's okay, it goes nice and quick. And then poke out all the little holes using, this is just my quick stick tool that I purchased from scrapbook.com, I think. So cleaned up all those little bits and popped them away, and here's the start of my design for my card. I have some mirror card. This is the Do Crafts Paper Mania mirror board, and this is the silver mirror board, and I want it to go behind the panel just so that it shows through those little dots, just for a little bit of detail. I have a piece of black cardstock here, the same black cardstock that I used to cut out the floral doily die, and I feel like my card just needs a border or a frame to frame up that centerpiece. I feel like it just looked a little bit funny and a little bit plain, so I'm just lining up a piece with the same size as my A2 card. I was going to attempt to cut down this white panel using my paper trimmer so that it would create a matte, the black would be matte in the background, but I thought it would be, the paper trimmer wouldn't work very well for the little holes that I had created in the white cardstock. So I've just gone around and created, I think it's about, I didn't measure, I think it's about maybe 1/4 inch or so on each side using my paper trimmer, and I'm just cutting out the final little bits to release it all with my scissors. And you can still see that the white card is a little bit bigger, but I will trim that off later. I'm using some liquid glue that is Ranger's multi-matte medium in the little precision tip bottle, and the precision tip bottle is from AliExpress also, and I'm just gluing it down. As I said, you just need to cut off these extra little pieces that are hanging off the side, and I kind of lift up the frame and just pop my scissors underneath so that there's nothing overhanging. This was probably just bad measurement from me from the beginning, but anyhow, fixing it up. Okay, there we go. It's all coming together now, and I've got my little doily die on the front. Now, again, if I were thinking about it, I would have cut this out with stick-it adhesive on the back of the doily die because it is a really fine design. So putting liquid glue on the back, would have taken me some time. So I have this little trick that I saw off another YouTuber, I think, or maybe on Pinterest. I saw it somewhere. And I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue down and use a makeup sponge to pick up the glue and sort of sponge it onto the back of the design. And a little bit more glue, make sure I've got plenty. And now it has adhesive all over the back, and then just stick it on and press it down. Okay, so now I also want to add this mirror cardstock in behind all of that so that it shines through the little holes that I've created on the panel. I'm just going to cut it down a little bit so that nothing will peek out the sides. So not measuring, just cutting it down. And then I'm going to pop that right there so it fits nicely. And you can see it shining through the holes. It's kind of hard to pick up on camera, but it does look good in real life. So I'm going to use some foam tape to put this on. It does give some nice added dimension and sort of creates more of a look of depth through the little pattern, through the hole. So just adding a little bit of foam tape for each one of those corners to make sure that it's all well supported, and then take off the release paper and add the mirror cardstock to the back. There's a little bit of adhesive from the foam tape showing on the sides, but that'll be fine when I adhere it to a card. So now I'm just thinking about the sentiment. I really wish that I had put the little black doily up a little bit further, and I could have put the thinking of you right down there. I wish that that's what I had done and didn't think about it in the beginning. And you can see here I'm really trying to make it fit and having a look. And also it would be tricky to stamp on it now that I've already put the foam tape. But that's okay, never mind. I'm using some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and it does stamp fine the first time, but you know me, I like to do it a couple of times because usually I mess one of them up. And I'm just going to use my trimmer to cut it out just a little banner style and then trim it up a little bit further. And I'm trying to decide where I want it to go on the card. I feel like wherever I put it, it hides some of that beautiful pattern of the doily. So I don't think I've put it in the right place, but I wasn't sure where else to put it. So that's okay, never mind. I'm going to trim up the end just with a little angle, and I'm just deciding which angle to do, and then going to place it down there. I'm going to pop it up on some foam tape. Just use my scissors to cut it in half. This stuff is super sticky. The foam tape is from AliExpress as well. Take off the backing paper and add it to the side. That is pretty much my card for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I do like how this one turned out, and I hope I will see you next time. Thanks, bye.